guys, we are back with the one and only Anton Gilmore. Nice to see you, dude.
Nice to see.
You guys, if you've had anything to do with boxing, you know this man. Anton, tell us how things going with you. Good.
Great. You know, I've got so many elements to my life.
You do.
So first one, Wednesdays. We have a feeding scheme. We've done over 110,000 meals in the last 8 years.
Oh, blessings on you, man.
That just carries on happening. People donate. Compassionate side of people comes through. It's a nice story. Great people there, kids, you name it. So I really enjoy that. That's a humbling moment, you know.
That's amazing.
Then from our project perspective, Fight with Insight,
Yeah.
it was nominated fourth best project back in 2019. So it was a big win for us. We also got the Dave Cheatham Award for best project in South Africa.
Wow.
We won R500,000 to help our project run. Our project cost about 2.2 million rand a year to run.
Sure.
Got 330 kids we look after between this gym and the 3 in Hillbrow. And we've got the biggest amateur boxing club. We've got about 130 fighters with 60 of them active.
Crazy.
So that's scary though, because if you've got so many fighters, how are you going to get them all fights, you know? If you're going to give each fighter six fights per year, which is on average 1 every 2 months, you know, which is a good number to have, you know. It's a low number, but it's good. That means you've got to have something like 360 fights, you know. Am I right? No, 3,600 fights.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we're just not getting there. So next year we're putting a plan together to do 10 tournaments. All the fighters will be ours versus the rest. So like 20 fights on each event, one here, one in Hillbrow. We'll alternate the months. So that's what we're currently working on. So the kids through our program, it's really marvelous, this program, you know, because a lot of the kids have got degrees, nursing diplomas. They've got their own clothing lines, conferencing things. Jennifer has become a national coach for South Africa, or Gauteng based, and she's just doing well. But our kids are really hot. There's about 8 of them that are professional right now, you know.
Sure.
So that's pretty good. We've got 8 SA champions, funny enough, in the amateur ranks. One of them is a female.
Incredible.
So the project does well. We feed them every day after every single training session. They're making a noise behind us on the other side. And I just open the gym and they just come flooding in, you know. I've had to pause taking on new guys this year because there's just too many, you know. So that's very good. And then from I had my big BGTN thing that was 12 television dates around the country. That's the dark side of this year ending, where they failed to come up with the funding, so the whole 12 development tournaments fell apart. It was nationwide. But I'm not going to stop there. That was one income stream for this to happen. I'm going to go find another TV station and other sponsors. I've lined them up already. So it's just a matter of pushing through.
God works in mysterious ways, man.
Yeah.
It might be something that He's willed, you know, and something big is coming. So you got to believe something like that.
Yeah.
But
so this year is 40 years of me in boxing.
But you've always done good, you know. I don't know if you remember this, but when we were doing the MMA over here, this is actually where I started coaching. And it wasn't anything that I was trying to do. I just got into
Anthony
it.
Or,
I was here with Manny.
Okay.
And then Manny just wouldn't pitch up. And then I would start taking the classes. And that's how I got into coaching was here.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
I remember. Did we have the mat there still?
Yeah, we used to take the mats in and out of the office all the time, put all the mats down before every class and then go. And we still started the caveman training outside with the tire flips and the ropes and all of that.
And I've got a poster next door. You fought on one of my tournaments in kickboxing, MMA type fights with a couple of other guys.
Yeah, I should actually take a photo of that.
Yeah.
But look, man, you've always done great things with the boxing. And look, 2025, what's your big things?
So I've got to look at what's going well, what's funding me, what's doable, what I can succeed at. And looking after the kids is the easiest thing to do. Also, to get involved with a child at an early age, you can get their mannerisms right, you can get their discipline right and things like that. And you can turn out good boys to become men for future generations, you know. Also, it's about GBV, looking after women and things. So if you bring up a kid right, you're going to be looking after the future. These are
100%.
future voters. So I enjoy working with kids. Funny thing is, when you meet a child, he hasn't got any of the taintedness that adults have, and they're not going to bring any trauma into your life and
Yes.
issue. I mean, there's kids with issues, but it's easy to repair because you just got to be there and talk to them,
Spend time
and
with
it's
them,
easy to fix. So I'm going to work heavily on the kids again. I've got 20 amateur fighters by the end of next year. I'll have 30 amateur fighters. So I'm going to have to put off a lot of tournaments. So 10 tournaments for next year. 30 fighters here. The 130 in Hillbrow. They're also there. We've got about 45 active there. So we got the biggest club in South Africa. It's a lot of work, but so that'll steal most of my time. But if I had this BGTN deal with the 12 television dates and whatever, and that fell apart. They didn't come up with the funding for it. So I'm going to go source funding somewhere else for this. I really want to develop boxing, and so the pros need more tournaments, more development. I mean, we've got lots of fancy tournaments and high-end tournaments. There aren't enough development tournaments, because there's no money in it. But if you can find the funding for it and you can develop something behind it, they eliminate tournaments where it's 8 guys this month fighting off to next month it's 4 guys, and then you get a winner after 3 months, and then you change the division and you do that over 4 times over the year, and you got 4 champions that are ready to go to the national level.
Yeah,
So,
look, we currently also facing a bit of a similar problem with the MMA, where we just got too few tournaments, especially developmental tournaments. Even for the youth, we run a youth tournament, and we're the only one that's currently doing it. And then you've got teams that are not teams, but federations that are butting heads with each other, and there's always politics involved.
Politics of dancing.
There's always politics, but it's good insight that I got now from you, seeing that you guys have got the same sort of problems that we're facing with the MMA. But man, I hope you guys come right with your tournaments. It'll be great to see the South African boxers just level up all of the time. Especially coming from grassroots, like with your guys, going into the professional scene and doing well.
So our guys, because we've got 6 or 7 SA champions, recent was the win by the female. They're going to turn pro in a year's time.
Yeah.
And if you imagine, we look after 330 kids. There's 130 amateur fighters, 60 current. In a year's time, 10 of them are going to turn pro.
Yeah.
And a year later, 10 are going to turn pro. So do you understand how big our stable will be?
It's a constant.
So eventually
growth.
it happened that it was just too much for me to handle. And they started migrating to other good coaches, Vusi, Mick Castellon and things like that. And when they leave us, they've got the full comprehensive know how to box type of thing. They actually, a lot of them are fighters and coaches at our project in Hillbrow. So, when they leave me, I know they can go anywhere and they'll be able to survive.
Be successful. Yeah, it's good, man. Look, I think every gym faces that, where eventually some of your students are going to migrate to a different coach, to a different gym, and exactly what you're saying is then having that knowledge in yourself that when they go somewhere, they'll be successful over there, and they've at least got a solid skill set going there. It's not that they're just walking into a blunt environment and they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But it happens. It happens with all of us. It's happened to me many times.
It's very common. Like fighters will be with you till they've taken what they can from you, and then they'll move on to the next pasture. And that's just boxing, as they say. There's a common saying that.
And look, I don't have animosity against them. At the end of the day, they're adults. If they, you can't stop an adult from doing what they want to do. If they want to go, they want to go. Wish them well. A lot of times I'll even phone another gym, where they think I'm going, and I'll speak to the coach and tell them, listen, one of my guys wants to come and train over there. Just look after him, help him out with what he needs and all of that.
So you and I have the same philosophy. As long as the guy progresses, does well,
100%.
Because it always comes back to you. I mean, the guy will fight, and if you look at Paul Kamanga and things like that, or Ricardo Malajika, he was with me for 8 pro fights, won 3 titles. Brian Mitchell took over his management and training, and he migrated away. People always remember that Ricardo came from this gym,
100%.
and originally from South Hills, but I developed him over the first 8 pro fights, So it comes back to you anyway. You know, you
Yeah.
don't have to worry. And we still have a good relationship. I have good relationships with all
Yeah,
my
that's important. Yeah,
fighters,
yeah.
except my guys that I
I
play.
do exactly the same. I keep, you know, like a lot of my guys, if they go and fight out of a different gym, I'll still go and support them on the
Mm,
day. You know, I'll go
mm,
through to EFC
mm.
or wherever they're fighting, and I'll go and
Absolutely,
support them. You know,
yeah. Mm,
it's it's good. I think it's good for them, for their psyche as well,
mm,
knowing that they don't have somebody who they've let down or
yeah.
they've,
It's
you
no
know,
animosity.
yes, no animosity, and
Yeah.
when they see you in the crowd or you come and
Mm,
greet them afterwards and congratulate them, you can see
mm,
they
mm.
fulfilled. You know,
Humbled and
yes,
it's
100%.
great.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is
I experienced it a lot. And it's a nice topic you brought up there. Just let it go, you know.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And with your programs that you run, where does, I don't know if you have it, but does religion play a part in it?
So we don't actually bring it. Recently, the kids did it themselves. They started praying at the end of the session, you
Oh wow.
know, sometimes at the beginning. So they did research into our project. We used to rehabilitate child sex offenders that were children. Okay?
Yes.
And after 7 years of running the program, they did research. They had an independent and then one done by Cape Town University. And they found that 60% of the kids that came through our project went to church. 70% improved their school marks, and 40% stopped doing underage drinking, smoking, and sex.
Oh wow.
So the results are great. And just for interest sake, one child sex offender will offend 364 people in a lifetime.
Oh, crazy.
40% of the people that he offends will go on to offend others. So it's a self-replicating problem. So that was up until 2013.
Just
Then Luke said, listen, my partner, Luke Lampe, he said, Ants, we're working with kids after they made the fault
yes.
and the crime. So let's get involved with all kids, any kids, open source gym there in Hillbrow,
Yeah.
and let them all just come and let's just start fixing the nation as we can. And
Great.
the results are phenomenal.
Great initiative.
Yeah, so we got involved before they made those mistakes. And you must remember, like everybody thinks a child sex offender that's a child is a bad person. They grow up in informal settlements.
Yeah.
There's a curtain separating mom and dad. Dad comes home drunk, rapes the mother, kid takes that to the school, and you can see where
100%.
this all goes down, you know. Also absent fathers, things like that. So there's a lot of reasons why a child becomes that. And out of the 130 that we rehabilitated with no repeat offences recorded since 2006, which makes it
Oh,
the
that's
most
beautiful.
successful project in the world,
That's amazing.
I did find that one or two of them, there was something wrong in the head,
Yeah.
but most of them were beautiful kids. They just went
Just
down
needed
the wrong road.
guidance.
Yeah, they needed guidance. So having an open source gym like this,
Yeah.
kids can come in at any time and train. Our gyms in Hillbrow are always available. And there in Hillbrow, we've got a conference room, we've got a library, we've got a kitchen that
Incredible.
costs like 300K, where we teach kids about nutrition and what have you. We've got two boxing gyms and this is just in the Children's Memorial Institute. It's phenomenal. We've got a chill out room for the kids to hang out. So what's very important in gyms is creating safe space for kids to exist in. So in the
100%.
afternoon, the kid leaves school and then he's up to no good in the street. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we open up here and they flood in. And at 4 o'clock, we start the class. But at least they're in a wholesome environment where the dangers of life, drugs. This is Rottenbush around the corner, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the crystal meth guys are 2 blocks away and they're selling their stuff right there at the
And they
corner.
don't care who they sell to.
No, they don't. Eh? And you know they're also trying to pull girls into the prostitute trade and things like that. So if the kids can rather be here, and this is a rec centre at Southern Suburbs,
Yeah.
it's been here at donkey's years. And if the kids could just come and play on the field, play some basketball, I don't mind what sport they play. But as long as they're in a wholesome environment like this,
I agree.
we're doing good things, eh?
Look, we found as well. Like, you know, I'm recently renewed in God now, and it's played a big part in our recent success as well. You know, us going through to Abu Dhabi with one of our fighters getting the world title over there, and already I was carrying God with me on that journey. Now when we go to tournaments, we pray before we do, and you know, we start getting good results. Everything, you know, people start feeling that the Holy Spirit is with us in our family. You know.
Yeah.
So it's great to hear that your kids are praying as well, and it's making a difference with them.
Yeah. So, you know, the world's funny. You can't be, if you've got your LBGT,
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
transgenders, all that jazz, and you can't say anything about it. So, from a religious perspective, we can't say anything either. But they come to us and they say, can we pray?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Muslim, Christian, you name it, doesn't really matter. And we just get down and do it. And we're all one nation, really.
100%,
Yeah.
yes. Everyone's just trying to make it through.
Yeah.
You know, and I find now in the festive season as well, there's a lot of people that are alone and a lot of people that have got like a little bit of depression this time of the year.
So you'll love what I'm going to tell you now. So I met this beautiful woman a year ago.
Yeah.
And I was on the wrong side of the rails myself mentally. And I met her at Madeira, funny enough. And that's the woman I wanted. So I checked into rehab, went there for a month. I had my first date with her while I was in rehab 2 weeks into the thing. And when I came out, I just got my life together, you know.
Oh, that's great.
And just started becoming that guy. But the reason I wasn't doing well is because there's a lonely man syndrome. Like running a boxing gym, it's a lonely sport.
It is.
So I'm here at 6 o'clock in the morning and I leave at 6 at night, 7 o'clock at night. So when I had my first marriage, I missed my kids waking up and going to sleep and feeding and going to school and things like that. So, you know, like I have no issues with my first wife divorcing me because it's called a boxing divorce and it's typical of sportsmen. So while I was becoming that guy for Debbie, I actually started thinking guys need a place to be. So we're starting a project here called Be That Guy. And once after your 3 months of trial, you get that guy t-shirt, okay? And it's basically creating space for guys to, after work, where do they go? If you're divorced, you've got work issues, this, that, or whatever it is, come to the gym, have a training session. You don't have to be a world champion, just have a good workout. Afterwards, we're going to sit around like Fight Club and we're going to talk about life, you know, in the rehab sessions.
Beautiful.
And we just help each other. But we're not going to formalize it like, I'm Anton, I'm an alcoholic or anything like that. It's got to be easygoing. And we just want the guys to hang out. We'll watch some old boxing videos, whatever it is. We just want the guys to congregate because men need men.
Yeah. And also so they're not sitting alone.
Yeah.
You know, when you're alone, you're with your thoughts, and your thoughts is what's getting at you.
Exactly. Also, when you bring in a network of guys like that, they might have the solution for you.
100%.
You might be struggling in business. You might need a oak to hang out with on the weekends, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not about not drinking or drugging or anything like that. It's just being with guys. And funny enough, when you get into that environment, you won't need those other things that you took to quell your loneliness or whatever it is, or your issues. So when we create this space, we're hoping to get a whole lot of guys here and just make something special happen, you know.
That's beautiful, man.
This is December now. This is the lonely season. If you're divorced or you're alone, it's the highest suicide rate period of the year.
It is, 100%.
So, you know, like, we want to be here. We've got the kids here from 8:30 in the morning, you know, they can hang around with us here.
Yeah.
And then I've got a lot of private clients that are guys that have issues and they just want to box, and it's nice to bounce off your coach. Coaches are like hairdressers. They're psychotherapists, eh? And you know, it's a backboard that bounces. You can bounce things off them and they can give you their 5 cents worth, you know. But having somebody to talk to is a big thing, and guys don't openly talk about their issues.
No, they don't.
I'm like a crybaby. I talk about mine all the time.
But it's anyway, a good thing, you know, get it off your chest. A lot more men need to be like that, you know.
Yeah, you know, so I'll tell my mates what the issue is, and they say, Ants, we've got the solution. Here's it, there's it.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I open my mouth and I've got a solution. A lot of guys they internalize their problems.
Yes.
Women are different. So the guys get tied up internally. So here's a big thing. When a guy is worried about the world and he's come here, he's got a relationship issue or a work issue, and you punch him in the head or you hit him in the head with the hand pads, or he lets a bit of anger out on the bag, his mind goes from the world to self-protection, especially when you smack them with the glove or whatever. And they just calm down. And I see them many times just drive out of there at peace, you know.
Yeah.
So it's about guys centering themselves, and that's what we call it, centering, when we clap a guy when he drops his hands down. And so guys can center, and, you know, maybe some friendships get forged and whatever. That's my big thing for next year, really. Is I've been writing it up for a couple of weeks now, and I hope to launch in January.
Look, I'm happy to back you completely with that. We can run it by my side as well.
Magic.
Then at least we've got two locations that
Absolutely,
we're working with.
Yeah.
So I think it's a brilliant initiative, and I think us men do need it.
Yeah.
This weekend, 7 o'clock, we're at our church bridge. We got a gathering of men. We call it Forge, and all the guys get together. It's just men. Bring your mug with. We serve coffee and all of that's at bridge. So whoever wants to pull through can come through 7 a.m.
I've got a
And like I say, it's just go. Yeah. So let's.
So yeah, I'll pop in there.
Yeah, Saturday, 7 o'clock.
It's the end of the year,
boxing.
so it's busy. I got boxing training. I've got a boxing tournament, and next year's prize giving. But it's about finding time for yourself in life. Big thing with me and yourself is you run the gym,
Yes.
you train the people. You don't have a succession plan. I don't.
Yeah.
So I've recently trained up 4 guys in my gym that have been with me for 2 years, and they take some of my classes. So if I step away for a weekend, I can leave the gym in their hands, and I come back on Monday, and everything's perfect.
I've had to do the same.
And I was burning myself out because I was doing every session, all the personal training. I was doing 5-6 hours a day, 20,000 steps a day, 40 rounds of hand pads, shoulders were dying. And then I just stepped back recently, and I went back to gym. Not my gym. I went to
another gym.
Moved gym down the road here. Beautiful gym, training with Gilly, and it's nice. I'm not in my space, because I've been here 24 years. I've actually been at this gym for 40 years. So
crazy.
yeah,
that is crazy.
Anyway.
But listen, the men's program, let's kick that off next year. Like I said, we've got 2 locations then. At least that side of the world where I am, at least we'll have a location there. And I think it's a great initiative and we need it. Anton, I think that's it for us. We're just over 20 minutes. I appreciate you so much. Thank you very much for this.
Yeah,
and
for giving me a voice.
I hope that all your plans come to fruition next year with God's grace.
God's grace.
Thank you, my man.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.